The central bank governor makes a bold call regarding the impact of COVID on the economy. A St. Andrew mother and her 2 children are missing. The Barbados Workers Union gears up for May Day. And in sports, Bajan male surfers advanced to round 2 at Pan Am Games.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. The news tonight is the Barbados economy has officially recovered from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to Central Bank Governor Dr. Kevin Greenidge. Our Ryan Broom was at a first quarter economic review session with the governor this morning. He joins us now live. Ryan, what factors would have led to this announcement?
Well, good evening, Pearson. According to Dr. Greenidge, the rebound has been led mainly by the resurgent tourism sector, as the island's economy grew by 6.4% for the first quarter of this year. In delivering the bank's first quarter review this morning, his first as governor, he indicated that the figure forms part of 8 consecutive quarters of economic growth.
Indeed, if we were to look at the quarterly numbers in terms of the level of economic output, both real and nominal, you will see that for March 2023, and we compare here 2023 with 2029, which is the year before COVID really began. In terms of real GDP, real economic output, which is the value, not just the volume of goods and services produced, we are virtually on par. If you consider the inflationary effects and price effects and look at the value of those goods and services produced, we're at $3.3 billion for the quarter versus $2.7 billion for the first quarter of 2019. So indeed, the growth has strengthened, the economy has recovered.
Now, Dr. Greenidge adds that the sustained growth in the economy has positively impacted the labor market. He says unemployment has plummeted from the 17% experienced at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, now down to 7.2%.
That 7.2 unemployment rate is the lowest we've had in history on record. Well, the lowest back to 2007 for third quarter. That is a significant recovery in unemployment, which indicates that the labor market is quite buoyant at the moment. Indeed, if you look at another indicator, which is how long it takes a person to find a job. At the height of the COVID period, it took most of persons took between 3 months and a year. If I look at the number, over 8,000 people would take almost a year to find a job, and even some took more than a year. If you compare it to where we are now, most jobs are found within less than 3 months.
Pearson?
Well, Ryan, that was what was happening at the macro or country level. But did the governor also talk about how things are shaping up on the ground for the ordinary householder, especially those who have concerns about inflation?
Well, Pearson, Dr. Greenidge did actually talk about inflation. Well, he noted that the rate of inflation has been slowing in recent months. Now, he was quick to make the point that it does not mean that prices are dropping. What it really means is that the speed at which the prices of goods and services get higher is now significantly slower, which essentially delays the impact on the average consumer. The governor also touched on the issue of debt at the household level, specifically as it relates to non-performing loans reported by commercial banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions. He says there has been a noticeable reduction in non-performing loans.
Because the economy has picked up, you expect loan delinquency, which picked up during the pandemic period, will have fallen off. And you can see that fall off here in all cases, and that represented largely households paying down debt, and this is debt in arrears. This is not new debt. This will be household paying off their mortgage and credit card bills, and the hospitality sector, which was impacted during the COVID period, repaying debt that have became delinquent, and the real estate sector. And this argues well for the entire financial system.
Well, that figure of 6.4% for the first quarter of this year is certainly encouraging, but as the governor has said about whether similar growth can be achieved for the remainder of this year. And on that note, well, Pearson, he is saying notwithstanding downside risks, which basically can include unforeseen factors on the international scene over which we have no control, like an escalation of the war in Ukraine or increases in oil prices, but notwithstanding any significant changes in those things, Dr. Greenidge believes the economic growth achieved so far is sustainable.
We expect the economy to growth to continue through the rest of the year and converge somewhere in the region of 4.5%. Now, we usually, as economists, like to be very cautious, and we will give you a range between 4 and 5, because there are many factors that impact this.
So, Pearson, as I said before, in a nutshell, as ordinary Barbadians, we will definitely have to be keeping an eye on the international scene as we continue to monitor the growth of the economy. The governor's next review of the economy will be at the half-year mark in June. But for now, it's back over to you.
Ryan, thank you so much. In other news tonight, Barbados remains under a water prohibition notice despite recent heavy rainfall in some areas. Officials of the Barbados Water Authority explained why during a press briefing and site visit at the Bowmanston pumping station this morning. Sharika Griffith was there. She filed this report.
In recent days, some parts of Barbados have been underwater due to heavy rain. This may have created some confusion, coming the same week as the introduction of a water prohibition as a result of current drought conditions. But as Manager of Water Resources and Environmental Management with the Barbados Water Authority, Alex Eiffel explains, the main source of water on the island takes on average 3 months to reach the aquifers.
Rain falling now will take a protracted time on average to reach the wells that we can use it. So therefore, this rain that you see in the past few days, although it will impact places like Bowmanston immediately, or the West Coast wells and wells like the Bell, that will take a few months to get to the Bell.
According to Mr. Eiffel, what Barbados is currently experiencing is an agricultural drought, where the amount of rain falling over a period is not enough to support a specific crop. By introducing the water prohibition, officials are hoping to avoid getting to the stage of a hydrological drought or one which impacts water resources. Signs of this include falling water levels, increasing salinity, and ponds drying up. However, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's weather forecast for the coming months suggests a significant probability this could occur.
They are predicting April, May, June, 30% chance of El Nino. May, June, July, a 62% chance of El Nino. El Nino is usually associated with low rainfall, high temperatures, and relatively increased wind speeds. All these factors reduce the amount of available rainfall. So to make sure that we are being cautious, we use those parameters in connection with our monitoring to make sure that the public get the message. There's a high likelihood that we might go into hydrogeological drought that will impact the water resources and have socio-economic impact.
BWA teams have stepped up their monitoring from monthly to weekly as they keep a close eye on the situation. Members of the media had a chance to venture close to 300 feet below the surface into one of the wells at Bowmanston to get a first-hand look at the water level. Officials say while the country has not reached the stage of routine shutoffs, it's important to conserve water now to ensure we can make it through the dry periods ahead. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Sharika, thanks. Well, during that press briefing, Barbados Water Authority's Director of Engineering, Charles Leslie, also addressed concerns raised by Valet businesses about the impact of the prohibition on their operations. Mr. Leslie confirms that such businesses would fall under the section which speaks to non-commercial vehicle wash.
It says a commercial vehicle wash, a business that services, details, or repairs vehicles, or a vehicle dealership may wash vehicles provided that garden hoses or pressure washers rated at less than 3 gallons per minute are fitted with the automatic shut-off valves. So those businesses we would have catered for those when the notice was being developed. So I want to allure the fears that those valet service businesses were having.
Mr. Leslie also responded to suggestions the Barbados Water Authority would be increasing its distribution of desalinated water.
There was something going around which was saying that people are going to tend towards more desalinated water than the traditional groundwater. But all of the water that we currently use in Barbados comes from groundwater, even the water that is desalinated at Spring Garden and at the Hope. At Spring Garden and at the Hope, we abstract water from the ground, from boreholes or wells. And then we run that through the system, the desalination system. So it's still groundwater. We don't abstract water directly from the sea.
Well, the police are seeking your help tonight in locating a missing mother and her 2 children. They are 25-year-old Danielle Tate, 4-year-old Paris Tate, and 5-year-old Denisha Best, all of Boarded Hall, Cane Garden, St. Andrew. They were last seen on Saturday around 7:45 in the morning by Danielle's mother, Corinne Seeley, of the same address. Danielle is about 6 feet tall, slim build with a low haircut. She has a short right hand and tattoos, including a rose on her left hand and a tattoo on her right leg with a design unknown. She frequents Temple Yard in Bridgetown. Anyone who knows of the whereabouts of Danielle Tate and or her children is asked to contact the Whole Town Police Station on 419-1700 or any other police station. Coming up on the CBC NewsNight, the Barbados Workers Union prepares for its May Day celebrations. The signing of the declarations of the missions of Barbados will be the high point of the 81st anniversary celebrations of the Barbados Workers Union on May Day. And during preparations for the day's celebrations at the National Botanical Gardens today, General Secretary Tony Moore told a media briefing it is a day not to be missed. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
It will be the second time the May Day celebrations of the BWU would be held in the National Botanical Gardens, and General Secretary Tony Moore explained the declarations of the missions, which is supported by the private sector.
There are 6 missions that have been identified and supported by the social partners, and the social partnership will sign on to those missions on the day as a commitment of that is the labor movement, meaning the government and the employers, the private sector's commitment to achieve a number of objectives that will make a change in the lives of Barbadians. I will not be the one to spill the beans now. Come and hear more about that. We will hear from the Prime Minister, we will hear from representatives of Labour, and of course we will hear from representatives of the private sector.
The General Secretary says May Day is the Workers' Day, and this year's celebrations are under the theme, It's About You. A star-studded cast of entertainers is lined up for the day's action. She gave some background to the thinking behind the theme.
It's About You is a theme chosen by the Executive Council of the Barbados Workers Union because we recognize that the achievements made by Labour over the years were not made because the Barbados Workers Union have had the most outstanding leadership out across the trade unions, which is true, but it is because of the workers, it is because of the support, it is because of the unity, the camaraderie among our membership that we have been able to forge results and meaningful changes in the lives of working people and their families, including those who are not members of the Barbados Workers Union.
The BW official says businesses and vendor numbers are up and spoke of a legal affairs booth to be open during the day's celebrations.
Legal services offered on anything, not just workers' rights, but on family matters, on land matters. People didn't know. And this is one of our most mature divisions. So I think it's an opportunity too for people who are in the union to find out more about the $26, the mere $26 a month that they pay and what it goes to do, but also for people who are contemplating or who might think they don't even need the union to come out and find out. You might very well surprise yourself and leave not only as a member but as family of the Barbados Workers Union.
The General Secretary said May Day is the day to celebrate workers, labour and working people and their families. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
The Hillary school term got off to a good start from all indications. The Barbados Union of Teachers is reporting there were no negative reports or challenges from its membership. General Secretary Herbert Gittins wants the trend to continue. In welcoming the recent showers, he hopes this will help reduce the dust and incidences of bushfires that have impacted schools last term. Overall, he is encouraging students to work hard given the importance of this term.
When our students at the secondary level, the CXCs and the K, and at the primary level, we know that students at the class 4 level prepare for the secondary school entrance examination, and then we also have the criteria reference test also for the class 2 and the national test for the class 3. So we really want to encourage all the students to work really hard to give it of their best and put in their best and biggest effort to ensure that their performances really go well for them. As I said, it's a hard-working term for all teachers, for everybody. We encourage students to be of their best behavior.
The BUT is also in support of the just-introduced Barbados school nutrition policy. Mr. Herbert says the teachers will provide the advice and encouragement to their students in a bid to get them to embrace a healthy lifestyle.
It's all about healthy themselves, eating healthy, remaining healthy, and generally in the schools I would expect that the management teams will try to work with the ministry to ensure that the message goes out there and that the schools actually change in some ways the type of offerings in terms of snacks and food so that we can play our part as teachers in assisting our students better in a better way in terms of healthy lifestyles. We know that there is studies are showing a greater incidence of obesity among students.
Sports Night is brought to you by Powerade. Feel the power. And Dasani Water. Connect mind and body.
And like a ray of sunshine on this beautiful rainy day in walks Anne-Marie Burke. Anne-Marie, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Pearson. I'll start with some really good news from surfing. It was a great day for Barbados' male surfers as they all advanced to round 2 of the men's shortboard competition at the ongoing Pan American Surfing Championships in Santa Catalina, Panama.
Shea Allen got the ball rolling for Team Barbados as he was a runaway winner in his heat when he posted a wave total of 13.07 after grabbing a late wave to beat Israel Barona of Ecuador to second, whose total was 8.84. Shea spoke after his win.
We have a wave at home called Soup Bowl that's pretty similar to this, so I'm comfortable on my backside. And we've been here almost like 2 weeks already because there's only direct flights once a week from Barbados to here. So we've been here a while warming up, so feel comfortable out here, yeah.
I was going to ask you, is like many similarities between Soup Bowl and this wave?
Yeah, on low tide it's pretty similar to this wave, and yeah, I've really been enjoying it. And the waves have gotten up a lot more today, so it's fun.
So tell me more about you. How old are you? What have you been doing? Are you surfing the regionals? What are you doing, and what are your goals for this event and the rest of the year?
Yeah, well, I'm 23 years old, so I used to do the junior contest a lot. Past 2 years, just been doing the ISAs and stuff. And then, yeah, I was just home teaching some surf lessons, and they were like, called me up. The Barbados Surfing Association and Barbados Olympic Association was like, let's do this, let's go to the Pan Am Games, try and make Olympics. So I was like, yeah, let's do it for sure.
Okay, Che, quiere ir por las Olimpiadas. Is there someone you want to say hi back home?
I'd just like to say hi to all my family, my wife, the Barbados Olympic Association again for helping us get here, and all my sponsors, and yeah, go Barbados.
Joshua Burke was also in winner's row in his heat as he advanced to the second round with a total of 13.83 to Dwight Pastrana of Puerto Rico's 8.57. Josh is happy with his performance so far.
I feel good, you know. It's nice to be back in warm because I was in California for like 3 weeks. But yeah, the waves are super good here. The low tide is definitely really difficult. The walk is long, and the waves are breaking on dry reef, so it's definitely a little bit harder than the high tide, but got it done and had some fun out there and got some scores. So yeah, I'm pretty happy.
How are you preparing your next few days of competition?
Next few days, yeah. I mean, I'm just honestly. To be honest, I'm just here practicing for the Challenger Series. That's what I'm really focusing on, to be honest. So this wave is similar to Snapper Rocks, I guess. So I'm just, that's what I'm really focusing on. So yeah, I'm happy to be here competing and getting my momentum up. And yeah, I'm just having fun and getting good scores. That's my plan.
Meanwhile, his brother Jacob was second in his heat to advance when he totaled 8 points. The winner was Ricardo Delgado of Puerto Rico with an 8.77. While Kai St. George was also second in his heat with a 10.56. It was won by Ecuador's Alex Suarez with a 12.07 wave total. Kai will be busy tomorrow as he'll be in the second round of the men's shortboard competition with the Burt brothers and Allen. He'll also compete in the second round of the men's longboard competition.
Let's look at business tonight. The Invest Barbados mission to South Carolina is selling more than an excellent tourism product. Chief Executive Officer of Invest Barbados, Kay Greenidge, told the Charleston Chamber the island is now well known for opportunities ranging from ICT, niche manufacturing, financial services and global banking to renewable energy, global education, fintech and niche tourism, to name a few. She says added to that offering is a welcoming investment climate. Consul General of Barbados to Miami, Rudy Grant, reinforced the attractiveness by saying that South Carolina and Barbados have always had good relations dating back centuries, and they're looking forward to enhancing the cooperation with Charleston.
We look forward to deepening and strengthening our relationship in a manner that is mutually beneficial to the people of Charleston and the people of Barbados. And we think that this is exciting. And I always say that, business is one thing, talking about trade, talking about investment, talking about pharmaceutical opportunities, because we are encouraging businesses to come to Barbados and produce medicines there, opportunities with respect to universities, any universities here in Charleston. We would want to encourage you to come and set up in Barbados. But the fundamental element and aspect really in relation to business relates to the way that we interact with each other.
More qualified Barbadians can expect to be among hundreds landing overseas jobs in a range of areas in the near future. It is arising through a new partnership between local agency Trinity Recruitment Services and an Asian hospitality firm. Trinity's Chief Executive Officer, Judine Scanterbury, gave CBC News an update on the venture, which will see her company expanding to recruit people from countries such as Nepal, Malaysia, Indonesia and China, among others, to meet the quota.
We have to be able now to compete with some of the bigger recruitment firms on the international stage. And this is where they pull a lot of their candidates from. Before, you would hear individuals say, okay, they pull them because of cheap labor. And that's really not the case from my research. Over the past couple of months, I've been able to do research and gather information from the same hospitality firm as well. And majority of the resumes that I've seen, for instance, if you have 20 resumes, at least 18 out of them all have associate's degrees. They either have a bachelor's or even a master's. And these are individuals between the ages of 20 and 30.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for visiting us. Now, if you want to see more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always go to cbc.bb for the latest news and current affairs.